Welcome back to Taco Bowler Gaming. My name is Taco Bowler. Today we're continuing our run playing as the Union in Grand Tactician Civil War. Last one, we ended a little bit poorly with a battle there, but we'll be okay. I'm going to actually add Siege Train to me here. And I'm going to go ahead and move and see if I can't get over here to help. If they're going to hold up that siege for as long as they are, we're gonna try to save them. Otherwise, this unit will continue to come down here, and we will. Yeah, they're heading Cairo, so we'll do that, and hopefully everyone will eventually meet somewhere around Memphis, Little Rock, somewhere in there. And we'll make this all happen. Meanwhile, these units over here, we're just trying to get their readiness back up. And then we will have the Department of the East invade Eastern Virginia and have that go. Let's see what policy we're working on. Working on 2 here. That's fine. That's good. Which we're going to continue to march here. Okay. So we have the Army of Indiana and the Army of Ohio both arriving. We're facing off against the Missouri State Guard, an unknown unit, 24,000 men. We do have some units with low morale. 4 brigades of a total of 881 men. Probably the cannons. So, we shall see if these reinforcements work the way they're supposed to. If they do, it'll be 35,000 against 24,000. But let me go here and make sure. So, we'll see if it works the way it's supposed to. Hopefully it does. And we have now the Battle of Strawberry Plains Bridge. Here, this is taking place in Kentucky, or in Tennessee, in spite of the fact that most of the map is Kentucky. Now we start the battle. We have Jet Nord alone, right over there. Then we have the Army of Indiana to the south. And we start the battle outnumbered. So, to not repeat the mistakes of last episode, my plan is to deploy the Army of Indiana up on the road there and just kind of take a defensive attitude and just wait the day out. We're supposed to have the Army come in 7 hours later, which would be basically overnight. So we're just gonna wait this day out and see what happens overnight, and then worry about whatever the Confederates might be doing. So we're playing very quickly here. Now, what I'm showing right here is on the map listed as the Cumberland Gap, which is the thing I've been trying to really get going for the railroad there. Just kind of take a look at what it looks like. It would actually take a somewhat important role in this battle. But it looks like it's that valley there along the Cumberland Mountains. Important area for sure. But here we go with a end of day, and we did get in. They're kind of like all bunched together for some reason, but they did come in. The Army of Ohio under Getty. We're gonna basically, I've detached both of the corps, and then I will detach the artillery from within those, limber them up, and then yeah, we're going to move the corps independently, so we can move Jet Nord, kind of without moving the 2 corps at the same time. At the moment, that's the way we have things organized. And basically, now I'm trying to figure out how to do this and how to have a defensive posture here and move well. So the first thing I do here is move the Army of Indiana up to the edge of the Cumberland Gap, and then release one skirmisher as a scouting party. And I'm going to use that scouting party to try and find the enemy line, which I assume to be somewhere near the victory point. That would make sense for it to be near the victory point. So that's the goal here, is that we're just putting it up here and kind of moving the scouting party. And at this point, I'm very concerned about running into something quickly, that maybe the forest, this heavily forested area, is causing problems for my line of sight. So I'm going to move up a little ways across the river up there so that when we get out of the trees, we won't be like right on top of the victory point, we won't be right on top of an enemy army. But we move the scouting regiment out above the out of the forest and onto the Kentucky State Road here, and I see nothing. So I'm going to just take them south along the road, get close to that victory point, see if anything's there. Nothing's there. So, pull the skirmishers back, and let's just move the Army of Ohio directly in there. We now have scouted. We know there's nothing in this woods and nothing at the victory point. But now I'm trying to figure out where they are. We outnumber them a little ways. I think it was like 35,000 to 24,000 or something like that. We outnumber them, but where are they? And what are they going to be doing? Just trying to figure that out. So at this point, knowing that the Cumberland Gap is that narrow, I'm going to move division by division through there and try and move the MVS, or try and move the Army of Indiana. Excuse me, no idea why that came about, but just try and move that Army of Indiana through the gap and get it to the victory point and converge maybe with the Army of Ohio. I think I moved this a little bit more solidly than I really should, because the army could be deployed there along the river by the gap, and I wouldn't have necessarily seen that from my scouting, but at this point I'm pretty sure that I see everything in here and that there just is not any force there. So we will take the victory point here quickly. There it goes. And we start to set up the two armies, bring the cannons behind the army. I have at this point noticed and looked to see that the Confederates would be coming out of the north. They should have had this in their deployment zone. I don't know why they weren't set up somewhere around here, but they're coming from the north. So now that we have the victory point and we're going to be defensive, it's going to be there. I think it's also worth noting that that victory point is worth 10, which means that it is going to be ticking up very quickly. Of course, it was ticking up against me very quickly, and I think you can win a battle just by holding the victory point and never firing a shot. Especially one like that, it goes up real quick, but I don't know for sure. So at this point, I reattach the Army of Indiana and the Army of Ohio to the department here, so that now I can control all the infantry with one click. With Jitnord, click that button and then realize that Jitnord is in the columns there. So that would be a problem, so very quickly move him to double line, and boom. And I decide that's good enough. So we're going to deploy all of our infantry that way. But the artillery is still completely detached. We unlimber them and try and figure out some place to put them. I do struggle with the artillery quite a lot in this game, is trying to figure out how to deploy them where they can actually do something without leaving massive gaps in my line that can be exploited and cause flanking. So I don't really know. At this point, I'm kind of apprehensive and like, okay, where are they going to come from? what's gonna happen here. I'm trying to figure out, do I set, do I reset the divisions on the sides to cover a flank? What's going to happen here? But for the most part, I just kind of leave it and just say, come what may. This division is turned. I have no clue why, but it is. And we just kind of keep going. You can see I already have 13 victory points for the objective. It goes quick. But we're already down to 5:30, and we finally see the Confederate force has decided to come pay us a visit. The cavalry and infantry, they're kind of going about the same pace, so not like the cavalry's coming in there, and then the end of day. So now what? Now I have a defensive line, and I can build stuff. I have 14 engineer points, so I can build a defensive line. I can do something. And so I decided that that's a good idea to do. Pull everything back so I can see, and then we're going to build a parapet, or not a parapet, a breastworks along there, and then try to build again over here. And that's all we can build. We're going to hope it's enough. So I'm going to put one division right there, another division in the middle, one more division on the side, and then I'm going to take that 4th division, actually put it off the flank a little bit, so that it's in the woods here, and hopefully it can be kind of crash in on the flank if they don't see it. And then I'm going to spend a significant amount of time trying to figure out what in the world to do with the artillery, and not coming up with a great solution, but at least it will be something. But the artillery is going to be pretty far up and fighting along those lines. We got it there. It's going to wind up even further up than that. But yeah, hopefully it works. Probably the best position would have been the hill up there, but I'm not sure we could have really done much with that hill right in front of us. This is, I think it's good to be back here, but yeah, the artillery, they're struggling to find any place where they're going to be safe, but also able to have some line of sight of some kind. And I still don't know. There's probably something in the manual that tells me how to do that, but I don't know it currently myself. So, but we just put them in here and hope they do something. Nothing else, they'll be a surprise waiting for anyone who breaks through the line, because that's for sure that they will be that. That's for sure that they will be that. But yeah, I ultimately decided to put them over there where they're in front, and my reserve division over there can jump up in front of them if need be. But here we go. So the Confederates didn't really move overnight. They're gonna be coming forward still. We're set up on a pretty solid defensive position. I've got a short flank on both sides, but I've got a lot of reserve divisions, and I noticed that they look like they're going to be building up on the left side of my line here. So I moved some of the reserve brigades over to that left side and try to extend that flank a little bit. But now as they come in, it looks like they're just going to be lined up directly against me, which again is not the wisest move. Not the best. Also not the best to send your cavalry alone right there. And we force them away. And now we have a battle against this infantry brigade. We trade that pretty well, as we're behind the parapet and they're in the forest and they're wide open in the field. I guess there's a little bit of coverage from the river or something like that, but yeah, we're going to trade that pretty well. In fact, we're going to trade the entire battle pretty well. Just keep fighting. That's all we can do. I noticed that their artillery is firing against us. My artillery does fire there, so it's at least doing something. So at this point, I lay down an entire division as the artillery is firing against them until they're forced to fight. But that would be now. So stand back up, because here they come. But I also noticed that we're pretty solidified that their line does not come all the way to my right. So I can bring that division out of the trees to fall upon their right flank, or their left side. They're on my right. You fall upon that flank and really cause some damage, I hope. Here I'm trying to move another reserve division over without putting it along the road, and therefore right in the middle of their right in the middle of where they could fire and cause it to really have problems. But here they come, and we're just going to stand behind that fence line and just knock them down. On top of that, we have Gibbon's division there that's coming in. We've already broken the Confederate left entirely, and so we're just going to keep moving Gibbon's army up. In fact, I eventually think, oh well, the entire side there is gone, so let's just move the entire army. And so we move the entire army of Ohio, 2 divisions there, on up, and we just keep going. Now my left side is holding against them, but it's not having the immediate success that my right had, but we should be able to begin to fold their line. And you can see that already it looks like they're starting to back up a little bit. They are going to make one final push here, but looking like they're going to start backing up. And indeed they do. There we go, they're retreating. Kind of look around. I didn't see any guns that got left behind. We didn't really attack their artillery that well, but we win, and over 2-to-1 casualty ratio there. I think it was 2,800 to 1104, but we'll get that in the news report here soon. But very good battle, and it was good to do it against the Missouri State Guard. Really good to do it against the Missouri State Guard.
Alrighty. Victory at Strawberry Plains Bridge. It feels good after the last one. Reportedly, the enemy has suffered casualties of 2,836 men. 342 are killed, 480 captured. Their morale is believed to be stable. We lost only 1,104, 450 missing. Morale is competent with supply situation critical. Noted. That's only for the Army of Ohio. That's not really critical. Alright, I do see another army there. A Raiders set. And that doesn't appear like that's a big, huge deal. So one of these will be able to relatively quickly do that. We need 0.7 million more funding on that. This, though, is an army that's nearby, but only 12,000 men. I'm kind of curious why this army is not moving yet. Ah, they are marching. Okay, so they're going to march over here, which I think that's who we were worried about, so we may come in further. Ultimately, we're hoping to secure the Cumberland Gap area so we can get this railway built so we can have the supplies. But we're also going to try and take Knoxville so that we have this area set up. Obviously, ultimately, Nashville will be a target as well. Pennsylvania's coming down pretty strongly. Readiness is excellent for the Department of the East. But for most of the other armies in there, not so much. The Army of Vermont, which maybe the readiness was what was causing that problem. They're still at low. They're going to be the main thing that prevents our march on Richmond. But that's my goal here for revenge, is to march on Richmond and Petersburg with everyone together. That's the hope. Alright. We do, though, have a lot that we can do on the military side of things. I forget if I was saving up for anything in particular. I doubt it. I think we go for recruitment offices once again, or supply reform. No, not yet. With my money situation where it is, I don't really want to deal with any of that stuff. Civil order. Not going to be building new stuff or anything like that, so I think we'll just do some recruitment offices and just continue to have that so we have more volunteers available. We continue to reinforce pretty well. And try and hold it. Try to hold it. Yeah, the Army of West Tennessee here is going to have some issues. They've got some supply coming in, but that's it. Let's go ahead and hit some more here. Funding Policy 1 has been enacted in the Confederacy. So the big thing is that if our credit rating gets below B-, so if it gets to C+ or CC++ or whatever, then Congress just doesn't allow you to build any more ships or build any new new units, recruit any new brigades. Which, you know, here it is. Okay, so the Battle of Batesville has finally ended with the Army of Missouri retreating in panic. Which I told them to do like a year or two ago. 2,141 casualties on my side, only 675. It's, you know, it's what it is. But we need to make sure that we get over there. Pause. Make sure that pause happens. And stop this movement from going there. You need to move back to Cairo as quickly as possible. And now, so the Army of Missouri, the big problem here is that they have suffered all of this whilst the winter was happening, so they didn't get any of the reinforcements coming in over winter, so that is a problem, of course. Alright, so the Cumberland Gap, we now have all of it again. We're building it once again. That's good. Here we go. An unknown unit is facing the Army of Michigan. How many units are in the broken brigades? 2,000 men, but that still puts us at a significant advantage. I am going to risk this. We're going to click auto-resolve, see what happens here. Really not sure why my computer is going this slow. It shouldn't be. Victory at Paintville. The Army of West Tennessee is in retreat. Colonel Bragg is becoming a hero. About even casualties. It's not terrible. Not terrible at all. So let's do this here, and I am going to try and see if there's something happening in my computer, some sort of task report or something. See if something is a little problematic here. Well, I'm not really sure what's going on with that. It says the CPU is only using 3.6% of the CPU, so really not sure. I do like to see, though, that the Hampton division is all the way down here, because that means they're not up here. The worst readiness was Army of Vermont. They're now in mid-yellow. I suspect we could probably march on Richmond, certainly capture that furnace. I really want to. I worry about a I worry about a repeat of what happened last time, but stop going up there. And here we are, just essentially, we're just bringing the entire army down. That's the goal here. Including several armies that didn't take part in previous battles, such as the Army of Vermont. Calm, we're okay. Got several small armies here. Oh, the Army of Shenandoah is way down here. I'm not going to do anything yet because I want the Army of New Jersey and the Army of Pennsylvania's readiness to be a little higher than that. But I'm noticing that I think Winchester might be completely open. And if we can take this front line and flatten it, like right now we're trying to make the Appalachians kind of on their own, take Richmond and Petersburg and Lynchburg maybe even. But, if we can get down there, that'd be great. While we're at it, I would love to take the home squadron. The home squadron, which should be ready to go. And test them against Moorhead. Where is the Baltimore squadron? Okay, so it is still in Baltimore. Good. Because it's going to be ready to go. We're going to bring them down to Moorhead too. And the Cape Cod Bay squadron should be in Boston. At least bring them down where they're going to be useful. Bring them down. We'll bring them down here. Give or take. Give or take. Alright, so these guys have won their battle. It's a question of what do I want them to do? Where do I want them to go? I think I want the Army of Ohio to get a little closer in. And I want the Army of Indiana to build. There we go. A supply depot here. And it looks like they're trying to encamp. And so I think that there's something to be said for pressing the advantage, moving them in. Look at all of this. This is typically what we do see the computer try and do. They're spreading out into very small units. certainly in comparison to where I am. The Army of the Potomac is up here. And they are 18,000 strong. We have, a few battle commemorative plaques here. We got one there, one there. There's two, I think, maybe three right here, and if I do it, there'll be a fourth. This is home territory, but their readiness is still really low. I think we'll wait a little bit. Although, notably, the Army of Vermont is trailing behind. Shock of shocks. Could do that. You're battling. You're battling what? Battling two Confederate corps. Right now we have the Army of Maine, the Army of New York, the Army of Vermont trailing behind, but they'll get here soon enough. Ah, there it is. We're fighting the Army of the Peninsula, among others. Let's fight it. Even though we don't have our whole army.
Okay, so we're going to move very quickly here. We have a gigantic deployment zone. We are already defending, which I really was not expecting. I was expecting to have to attack because we're assaulting the fort, but I don't get that. So we were able to make the entire Department of the East in kind of that one army there. We're going to set it up there, and then we have 37 engineering points out of this. So we have that in along a river with some forest, and so I've got a very sped up setup here, but I spend quite a bit of time building up a defensive position. They can come up a couple of roads, about 3 roads that I was trying to defend. So we have this one here, Old Cold Harbor Road, and I'm trying to use parapets because I have so much here, and wind up having to use some breastworks and find those stuff that will actually work, and locations and whatnot. But we make it work. And then I'm just going to continue all along this river with breastwork as far as I can. Here we're going to struggle to get one that works, and we have to actually go parapet to get it to work. But this is the second road that I'm trying to guard here that they might be able to come up. And then the third one is quite a ways to the north, a kind of more major river crossing that I decide to ultimately guard by kind of there we go, the parapet works. And you kind of ultimately decide to guard that third road up there by Bethesda Church. I don't know what that is. Bethesda Church. By doing that. And then I noticed I still have like 9 engineering points, so at this point I just kind of build some rainy day defensive works to just kind of get it back to that river there. Just kind of extend the sides of what I'm planning to do. And then we just set it up. We're going to set up our cannons along the higher ground behind our lines. Not that that does any good for this battle, but oh well. And then we're just going to set up divisions along those lines, along those areas, starting with that point to the left. We're going to just keep pushing some divisions up here. what is the Battle of Richmond? Kind of feel like that's an important battle. Yeah, just trying to stay somewhat centered there. And then the last one here, I'm going to have the entire division in reserve. So I don't really know where they're going to come, but I have that entire division be in reserve, ready to answer wherever they come. And because I am set that way up, and I've got these great engineering works, and I've got the reserve division. We've got a river with the woods and stuff. I consider this to be a great defensive position. A little bit sad that it's only 3-point victory point, but still, this is a great defensive position. We're up a little bit of a hill. They've got to cross a river and then come uphill to do anything against us. It's great. So it's just going to be a matter of executing, I think, the battle plan. But right now, we have to just wait for them to get here. Yeah, and you can see there we have them outnumbered 2-1, or almost 2-1. But here comes one cavalry down one road and then one cavalry down the other road. I'm guarding both those roads, but kind of interesting that they're coming down both roads. But here we see some more infantry, and they're coming down both roads. But that kind of solidifies to me that the entire thing's coming from the left side. So we're gonna move that reserve division down to do that extra breastwork, stand behind that extra breastwork, and go there and be ready on that side of the line. But this is where I kind of noticed that, despite the fact that being up on that hill, they should have been able to fire over my men just fine. These guns don't have a very long range at all. They're not able to hit the Confederate line. The Confederates are able to hit mine. They are able to fire some of theirs. So that's going to force our hand on a couple of things in this battle. But I really don't understand why our artillery was not able to fire. Even like here. I was like, well, maybe I'm behind the hill, but nope, I don't quite get why. But oh well. Here we have the Confederates. They're on their own hill over there. But we're just gonna try to meet them where they come. I'm gonna wind up putting one of the artillery over on the other crossing over here, and just kind of try to guard that a little bit. But yeah, we just kind of are in a spot where we wait for them and hope that they decide to charge into our incredibly strong position, which both historically happened and has happened before on this game. But right now we have the artillery, and they were firing at me, but maybe I'm giving it too much credit because they do keep moving it closer. So maybe I'm giving it too much credit. But there we see a cavalry unit that tried to charge, failed against the breastwork, and then routed. There we go. Here's another cavalry that comes up. They're going to stick around for a little while. But now we have the artillery moving forward. We have the first large artillery division I've seen in the Confederates yet, there with, I think it's Gary? That has, multiple little units on the map, NATO units on the map. So yeah, but here my artillery is not able to answer them, so I've got to send a skirmisher out to try and do something. We do manage to get the horse away, but before we can get the artillery, our skirmisher is retreating back to the river and will break. Oh well. So here we're looking for one that can do a skirmisher again, and we have another unit of artillery that we're just trying to get out of here. So we've attacked that one, forced it to retreat, and now we're attacking another one over here. I think I tried to melee it a little bit. And so these skirmishers are doing the good work to get there. We're just like, okay, come back. But these guys are a big artillery division. We've got to do something against it. But what I notice is we've started to actually have people close enough to actually fire on the line. And as they are pushing in directly at my center, which is also concave, which is another good thing defensive, I decided to go ahead and try to start rolling the line, just like I did earlier in this episode. So we're going to bring that division up to try and roll the line over there, and meanwhile keep the line everywhere else, make sure that they're not breaking through, and we would need to use any kind of reserve fill in there. There is one artillery that's already gone, and we have this guy here who's frustratingly, stubbornly sticking around. But he is now flanked and surrounded and stuff, but he's going to stick around for a little while. He's able to keep things together. But we make him retreat. At least fall back. And go there. And here the casualties are starting to get back in my favor, starting to get to good to my favor, but I don't want to stick around and let the artillery keep bombarding me. We did manage to get Gary or Gray or whatever that was division off of their guns, as well as a couple of others. So we're able to just keep pushing forward. Now with no artillery, we could have perhaps retreated back to our line and seen what they did. Maybe that would have been good, I don't know. We did have multiple wounded in actions. You've seen in this battle here. Multiple wounded in actions. Now we've broken another unit up there, but that one division, the cockerel or whatever that was, is still kicking back there. Still not yet routed. But now we have the entire Confederate Army in a kind of ball there. If I could just get rid of the division that's staying back down over by the old Cold Harbor Road, by the end of the tributary there's another wounded in action. I could then surround, put a massive surround around this without having to worry about being flanked on what would be my left, and really do some damage to these guys, and maybe even capture most of them, but at least turn this into a major victory at Richmond, which would be nice considering the major victories that had been happening against me up in Winchester recently. But we can't quite do that. We're forced to let them escape, but we do some damage against them as we are pressing in, and so there's another wounded, but we're pressing in and forcing a retreat as much as we can. And there's another wounded, but there's the retreat. And so at this point I make sure to go get those guns. I really wanted to know what guns they had, because you looked like they had better cannons than me, because theirs were firing and mine were not. Similar situations, right? Similar shots, but they wind up just having six-pound howitzers, so they must have just set them up better. And admittedly, they did put them up forward. Also, admittedly, I proceeded to destroy them and capture them, so give or take. Give and take of things. But yeah, we're just going to try and move things up here. We're going to try and save Adams, which is way out there, flanked and pretty badly flanked on his own. Here we're going to try and capture a couple more guns. And there's one, and there's another. So we're going to just move right in here. You capture that one, you capture that one, thank you. Just making them abandon the artillery which is so wonderful. I guess this is a 6-pound field gun, but yeah, 5,000 to 3,100. So perfect.
Back in here. Victory at Richmond. The Battle of Richmond fought today. To the Federal Department of the East, some 45,000 troops, and the Confederate Army of the Peninsula with 28,000 troops. And after 42 hours, we have won. 5,189 casualties in the enemy, only 4 of them captured. That's really good. 3,168 men for us. 852 of them missing. 19 guns. 3,000 some odd rifles. That's wonderful. But yeah, that's going to be the end for this episode, and I'll see you next time.